All right, so I suppose that in regards to the flight plan and the donations, the playing group has decided that they'll donate to the new facility, and in line with this, that the opportunity for members and fans to donate this weekend in particular. There's going to be a telethon running when the game's on and during and prior, and then the opportunity for supporters to donate online through the Essendon Football Club website. That certainly we need, as much as support we can, and the playing group certainly felt that it'd be beneficial and that we needed to chip in as well.
How did that sort of come about?
Yeah, I think we just felt that we were asking fans and supporters to support the club, and that we realised that we needed to kick in as well. And I think that it shows that we really are going to be the ones who benefit from this, and we felt that it was important that we were also contributing.
So the fact you didn't get the funding from the government as well meant you sort of had to take this action as well?
This was done before that, so we sort of spoke about this in early January, and that was before that they knew or didn't realise. So it was something that, as a leadership group and as an entire playing group, we felt was the right thing to do, and certainly all the players contributed.
How much are you kicking in? Can you say collectively?
No, I couldn't tell you. It was a voluntary sort of donation, so I've got no idea how much it was. We just every player got a piece of paper and wrote down how much they wanted to be deducted from their pay.
I guess just going on to the game, it is a massive game this weekend. You sort of fell away at this time last year. You're confident that won't happen again?
Yeah, look, we worked a lot on pre-season about being consistent, and certainly around this time going to the break last year, we lost 2 games in a row, and probably took away a little bit of what we'd done in the first half of the year. So we recognise how important the game is, and also the opposition that we're playing, and how good a side Sydney is. So we certainly were mindful over the pre-season about being a more consistent side, and this is going to be a good test for us.
So the way you sort of bounce back show how much improvement you made. Will sort of this week tell a bit of a story?
Well, I think that we've shown, in the first half of the year so far that our consistency has been there. But I think it is a test for the group to be able to recover from a loss when we really didn't play well, and being able to put a game together to finish off the first half of the season.
Did you feel yourself getting a little bit weary? Not yourself, but the team. The second half of the Richmond game sort of seemed to be tiring a little bit in the last couple of weeks. Hasn't been your best footy. Have you felt that?
I think that obviously a lot of guys are getting tired at this period of time, and the break is probably pretty fortuitous that it's coming up after one more game. I don't think that we played probably as well as what we did early, but we've certainly been training and trying to rectify that, and we've got the opportunity to do so against a really good Sydney team.
And you'll say back at Etihad, your record in the past 18 months shows that you have more luck there than the MCG. I think the G you've had 3 wins, 1 draw and 9 losses compared to 1 loss and 12 wins at Etihad.
Yeah.
Any thoughts on that?
Look, I think that probably we get used to playing at Etihad. We play there a fair bit more than what we do other grounds. But obviously our record at the MCG hasn't been as great. But you look at this year in isolation, and you sort of say, well, we beat Carlton there, we beat Richmond there. We lost collectively by 7 points to the MCG. So I think that whilst we do play Etihad well, we're going to have to be able to adapt to the way that the different dimensions of the MCG ground, and also the conditions, which are always pretty good at Etihad.
I know you didn't get suspended, but as a leadership group or yourself had a bit of a word to Leroy Jetta after those couple of sort of milking for free kicks?
I think that what we did is, Angus Monfries went through something pretty similar last year, and as a sign of sort of Angus's maturity, he sort of took it upon himself to maybe have a chat with Leroy and just giving him some advice. Leroy's he's a ball player, and he plays to the whistle. But sometimes habits creep into your game, and I think Angus is the right person to address that, and he's done so.
With the accuracy, it was pretty costly on the weekend, obviously. It's been something that's sort of dogged the team a little bit. You're getting more shots on goal, but not necessarily converting more. Is it something that you consider, something that you really need to work on?
Yeah, it's funny because last year we were probably one of the most accurate sides in the competition, and then this year it hasn't sort of worked out, and it was sort of exacerbated by the loss on the weekend. But those guys, they do a lot of training, a lot of practice, a lot of goal kicking. Sometimes it can become a little bit contagious in terms of missing, but that's the game. You've got to be able to adapt.
AFL, I believe. Any news on that?
Yeah, I just spoke to him then, and he will probably play again this week, whether it's for the AFL or the VFL. He's not too sure, but it was nothing serious and didn't require a scan or anything like that.
There's plenty of rounds to go, and just the loss on the weekend, though, do you sort of fear it's one that might come back to haunt you towards the end of the year in terms of, finishing positions that might cost you a top 4 spot, something,
Yeah, I mean, you sort of look at that, and I think that what happened was sort of the round showed how hard it is to stay up every week and how even the competition is. And I think that what it does allow is we've got some wins in the bank, and then we've got games to win more games, in the second half of the year. So if we were sort of facing the last round of the year, and we needed a win to get in, then you look at it and say, oh well, it was probably a really bad loss. But when you've got still 11, 12 games to play, I think you say, well, you move on and just hopefully it's an aberration.
Confident this team's capable of being a top 4 team by the end of the year?
Yeah, I think that what we've shown in the first half of the year is that we're capable of playing really good football for extended periods of time. The challenge for us is going to be able to do that for the second half of the year. And if we are, then by the position that we are in the ladder, that we're going to be around that top 4 mark. And that's going to be the challenge for the group.
Dyson Heppel and Michael Hibbard obviously missing out the last few weeks. Are they ready to return?
Yeah, both trained today. Both will be available selection. Hibbo's probably missing 6 or 7 weeks. Probably more likely to play in the twos, but certainly Dyson will be back available.